Alrighty, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Atlanta News First Alert Desk. I'm happy to see you as always. I'm Savannah Louie, and we've got your top 5 stories for the Metro Atlanta area. I want to thank all of you guys for joining me here on this Thursday evening. I want to start off with a story I think a lot of you are going to find interesting. Here in Atlanta, we have heard, at least I've heard, I'm sure many of you have heard as well, people with the saying, "Keep Atlanta Atlanta," or "Atlanta, we're full." Both of these phrases in reference to the growth that we've seen here in our city. Well, now there is a new initiative, a new push to protect legacy Atlantans who have been living here in the area for a long time. City leaders wanting to hand out cash to some of these legacy residents. I am going to send things over to our reporter, Patrick Quinn, for more on Invest Atlanta.
For 3 decades, Shirley Clynn has been sweeping the driveway of her aging corner home in southeast Atlanta.
It would be a tragedy if I would have to leave my beautiful home, and I don't want to do that.
As Atlanta grows, the city now working to make sure legacy residents like Shirley don't get left behind.
They are the fabric of the community, and they should be allowed to remain in the communities that they help build.
Anita Allgood and Invest Atlanta, they're behind the Heritage Program, where seniors can apply for up to $30,000 in a forgivable loan for health and safety repairs at their homes.
There is no monthly payment on that loan. It is being forgiven a percentage every year. It will be completely forgiven after 5 or 10 years. It is essentially free money.
It's geared to those making 60% of the area's median income for plumbing, electrical, roof, and floor repairs. At C.T. Martin Rec Center, Gary Blanchett is applying for funding for a new deck.
And the gentrification has upped everything. So I want to keep my house up to the level of everybody else's. So that's why I'm here.
The city is hoping to help 800 people with $24 million from a housing opportunity bond. And the program is already paying off. Remember Shirley? After water damage in July, she got a new kitchen with new flooring, a sink. Oh, and you gotta see the cabinets.
Look at here. Oh my God, I said, oh my God, I said, I can't stand myself.
3 decades Shirley's been in her Lakewood home. And now, thanks to some much needed home repairs paid for by the city, she's not leaving.
I've lived here over 30 years.
Oh my God.
And it's home to me.
Again, that was our Patrick Quinn reporting there. All right, guys, I want to bring you an update to a story we had breaking yesterday evening. This was a devastating story. We learned late last night 2 people were killed in a shooting at a Walmart in Paulding County in Hiram. Well, earlier today, we had our reporter, Zach Summers, going out to the scene. He spoke with some officers to get the latest information, and we have learned a little bit more about what unfolded at that Walmart. The alleged gunman, James Norton, was an employee of this Walmart. His victim, Zoe Messenger, was simply shopping after she got off work at her job across the street. Now, Hiram Police Chief Michael Turner says the two ran into each other inside the store around 7 o'clock last night. And they used to be in a relationship, but it's unclear why or how long ago that they ended things. The chief says the two were seen on video having a conversation. It appeared to be friendly enough when suddenly Norton shot Messenger and then turned the gun on himself. Both died at the hospital. Very upsetting story here. Chief Turner says they've seen an uptick in domestic violence cases, by the way, over the last several weeks, but this is the first that they've seen turn deadly. Again, this happening over in Paulding County last night. Definitely a very tough story to tell, but it's always important that we highlight incidents of domestic violence because so often they can go unreported and not talked about. If we have more details on this full story, you can find that at AtlantaNewsFirst.com. All right, guys, we are moving straight ahead here to another story. I thought this was really interesting. I mean, if you stick with us here, if you've watched our streaming or our newscasts, you've probably heard a number of stories about distributing anti-Semitic flyers across the metro Atlanta area. We've had this happen in Sandy Springs. Now the latest incident is taking us to Suwannee and Gwinnett County. But what's really interesting about this story, police are using a new tactic to hopefully bring justice to the community and hopefully nab the people who are responsible for this. This is one of those flyers here, anti-Semitic flyers. Police are looking into potential litter charges for the people who are tossing these bags into people's yards. You can see one of our reporters, Adam Murphy, here holding one of those flyers, showing you what it looks like. We found dozens of baggies with those hate-filled messages all throughout 3 different Suwannee subdivisions earlier today. Police tell us they removed the complaints in the Village Grove neighborhood, the Stone Ridge subdivision, and the Forest Plantation neighborhood. In total, they collected more than 100 of the anti-Semitic flyers, and they're obtaining information from flock license plate cameras in the area to hopefully see if they can determine who is responsible for leaving these materials. By the way, we should mention people who are living in these communities were not happy about these hateful messages. And again, this follows an uptick that we've reported a number of times in anti-Semitic claims, distribution of flyers, language across the metro Atlanta area over the past couple of years now. All right, guys, final story I have for you this evening. I thought this was really interesting. There is a city in metro Atlanta that is going to be implementing new, brighter lights. We're talking about Stone Mountain. There will be installing LED lights all throughout the entire city. Now, the project isn't going to cost the city a dime. This is all thanks to a partnership with Georgia Power. The LED bulbs are going to help brighten up city streets and also some of the parks there. And they could save the city money. We're talking about $300,000 in the long run. That's a lot of cash there. Georgia Power, by the way, is currently sourcing bulbs before this installation begins. So that is something to definitely keep your eye on as we move ahead here. It's going to take some time to complete the installation. So if you live in Stone Mountain, be aware of what's going on and what you can expect there. All right, guys, and with that, I want to thank you so much for joining me here on this Thursday evening. We're getting closer to the weekend. And y'all, you could have not asked for better weather at the moment. Oh my gosh, you're going to love this live look. Hey, actually, you know, while I have you here, I got to say hello to my mom who is watching right now. I don't think she watches that often, but she messaged me at the beginning of this. She's like, I'm watching you. So, Mom, thanks for watching. Everybody else who's tuned in so far, thank you for watching as well. I got a nice treat for you here because you stuck with me this whole time. We're taking a live look now at Marietta Square. Look at that beautiful end to a sunset. And the square looks like there's some stuff going on. Maybe people grabbing a bite to eat outside. That's what I wish I was doing.
It's Thursday night.
It's Thursday night, and we got meteorologist Patrick Pete ready to party with this weather.
Feels too good to be inside. So this is the night to go ahead and step out into the streets. Folks are doing it out of Marietta.
We'll meet Patrick out there.
Yeah, I mean, still have a little ways to go, but, you know, all good in the neighborhood. What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Let's go ahead and get you set up so that you can know what to expect as we head through the next couple of days. And another dry day is in the forecast for tomorrow, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. We're looking at that dry stretch continuing into the beginning of next week. So you have till Monday to maybe get those Halloween decorations put out in the front yard. I know a lot of folks are getting ready for that. Rain opportunities build in as we head toward the middle of the week. Tuesday's rain chance looks pretty isolated. Wednesday looks like several more people could get in on some of that action, and then some of that moisture is going to stick around till Thursday. So nothing that's overwhelming. There doesn't look to be a severe weather risk with any of this, but some rain is rain, and I know like a lot of the yards are needing some of that. So we're looking forward to that. On the backside, we will see temperatures eventually dip into the 70s as far as afternoon highs, so a little bit of a cool down, but the weekend is looking fantastic. So this is the perfect time to get out and about, make those plans. I was actually speaking with meteorologist Cutter Martin actually at about 7 or 7:30, 7:45 about camping, because where I'm from, this is the time of year where we actually start to go out and camp a little bit more, because those numbers are coming down a little bit. And this is really perfect camping weather. Beautiful weather tomorrow. We'll start off in the mid 60s, easily getting into the 70s around lunchtime, and then we'll hang out in the 80s for a couple of hours. Seasonal temperatures, 83 is the number, and that's the forecast for tomorrow. So a pretty typical September day here, and that's going to transition to a beautiful evening. So if you're not camping tomorrow evening, there's actually a bit of a jazz concert, Legends of Jazz, kicking off at 7 o'clock at Mabel House Bourne's Amphitheater. Green light. Get outside. It's going to feel amazing. 70 degrees by the 10 o'clock hour. Saturday forecast is looking pretty much a carbon copy of what we're expecting tomorrow. A lot more sun. Comfortable numbers, especially as we head into the afternoon, where we'll sail into the low 80s. Actually expecting the high to hit 83 degrees Saturday and Sunday. So a beautiful kickoff of the fall season for us across North Georgia. Slightly cooler numbers Sunday morning, but I think we're fine in the afternoon. The clouds will build in as we head towards Monday, and then we're going to watch for some of that moisture building in. Looks like we could see a spotty shower or two Tuesday, better opportunity for a few more folks to get in on the action on Wednesday, and moisture around Thursday. A lot of the story today, as far as the national weather story, has been about this potential tropical cyclone 16 that has developed off the coast of Florida. We've been actually talking about this for several days here in the First Alert Weather Center. We've been telling you that we were expecting something to develop from this stalled boundary, and National Hurricane Center is seeing that too. Those winds are at 35 miles per hour. It's moving to the north at 7, and we do expect this to become a tropical storm, if not tonight, then early tomorrow, as it starts to march northward towards the Carolina coastline. Right now, this looks like it's going to be a North Carolina landfall. Could see this as a very strong tropical storm. Models have dialed back a little bit on it becoming a hurricane, but still not outside of the realm of possibility if it gets its act together. In either case, this is going to be a rain maker. It's going to be a little breezy out there, and there's going to be a little bit of a surge at the coastline. A lot of the guidance has been talking about 2 to 4 feet of surge across a large chunk of the Carolina coastline. So we'll be watching for that, and obviously our thoughts are with them, but this is going to be a relatively mild event other than the rain. This is eventually going to lift off towards the north and east and eventually emerge back into the open Atlantic. But it's going to bring rain to Virginia and Maryland and into portions of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. This could make rain likely across a large chunk of the Northeast as we head through the weekend. So if you had plans to go in that direction, just be on alert. This isn't going to be major, but it's going to be rainy, and that could impact some of your plans. Meanwhile, Hurricane Nigel not looking overly impressive. It's forecast to weaken. It's moving into cooler waters, and that trend is going to continue as we head through the next day or so. But we're keeping an eye on the tropics to the south of Nigel. An area of low pressure, a tropical wave is developing and has a pretty solid chance of being a depression as early as Saturday. But for sure by Tuesday, we do think that we'll see at least a tropical depression out of this. And we'll continue to monitor that. It's going to kind of be a race between this system and the system off the coast to see which one of them develops first. The next name on the list is Ophelia, so it could be either one of those systems depending on which one organizes the fastest. My bet's probably on the system off the coast of Florida. Getting back to the 7-day forecast so that you guys can screenshot it, make your plans, and get outside and enjoy some beautiful weather. Checking in with some of our YouTube viewers, and they're pretty silent on the weather because it's awesome, which is good. But I'm going to leave you guys to your evening. We're here for a long time, or a good time, not a long time. But you can catch us on Peachtree TV at 10. Have a good night.